Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hogan's Headlines. As always, it's me, Dylan. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I'm excited to be here, excited to be talking about sports again after a little bit of a break. Things were going on. Episodes could not be recorded, but it is what it is. We are here now, ready to discuss all of the stuff that I have missed in the last week and a half. We got a lot to discuss. Lots of information going on with the NBA, March Madness, World Baseball Classic, UFC, MLB, NFL, WWE, NHL, all kinds of stuff is going on. So let's just jump right into it. First off, before we get anything, I wanted to say thank you for everyone who's listening, and I hope you guys are all doing great. And let's just jump right into it. I'm too excited to discuss anything else. So, first thing we need to get into, NBA has been crazy. Sports in general have been crazy, but the NBA in particular, let's discuss it. Last night, Monday, March 20th, we had a 7-game slate or 6 game. I apologize. Is that 6? It's 6 games. I'm sorry. Can't count today. 6-game slate. A couple upsets I really want to get into. So let's start off right now with the Bulls visited the 76ers, and they took the W in double overtime, won 109 to 105. Joel Embiid had 37 points, 16 rebounds, 3 blocks. Vucevic, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 4 steals. Really surprising win by the Bulls, and a very low-scoring game for a double overtime. We saw this is abnormally low for a double overtime game. We saw just 3 weeks ago, Sacramento Kings visited the LA Clippers, and they scored, I think, a 350 plus combined. It was like 177 to 173. So now that we've hit double overtime games that are barely exceeding 105 points, it's pretty impressive, honestly. This game was especially interesting for me only because the Bulls have been on a little bit of a run, not like winning 4 to 10 games in a row, but they've just been winning 2 and then losing 1, winning 3 and losing 1. So I'm impressed with this win by the Bulls. I know that they're hitting their stride right now, but I was especially impressed with them because they beat the hottest team in the NBA. The Sixers were on an 8-game win streak. They were beating teams on the lines of like at Bucks, at Cavs. They beat the at Pacers twice, at T-Wolves. Embiid is on an absolute tear right now. So the Bulls going into Philly and taking a game over the hottest team in the NBA is really impressive to me. And DeMar DeRozan was incredible last night. I predicted this. I'm not going to try to toot my own horn, but I kind of predicted the Bulls, going into the play-in game, and this is exactly what's going on. At the beginning of the season, they weren't really predicted to really go anywhere. Lonzo Ball's been out for this whole year, looking like he's going to be out all next year too, which is just really upsetting and really sad to hear. And when I was doing the prediction for the end of the season standings, the Bulls I think were in the 12th seed or 11th or 12th seed, so they were out of the whole play-in picture. And now we see the Bulls have a 2-game difference between them being the 10th seed and the 11th seed, which is the Wizards. So the Bulls have really picked it up, won these close games, and been really impressive. Especially this game is probably their best game of the whole year. Defense was crazy. And I want to just discuss Joel Embiid's historic tear. Before this game, and on the 8-game win streak, he was averaging 36.3 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, 2.6 blocks per game, with a plus minus of 78. For those who don't know what a plus minus is, it's the difference in score when he is on the court. So the Sixers have scored 78 more points when he is on the court. And James Harden in that 8-game win streak was averaging 22.3 points per game, 11.5 assists per game, 7.0 rebounds per game, and a plus minus of 77. So it's essentially the same thing as Joel Embiid, but these two were on a historic tear. Very impressive. I honestly thought that on that 8-game win streak, I was like, well, could this team go to the finals? Can they beat the Bucks? Can they beat the Celtics? Can they go to the finals and beat whoever comes out of the West? And my answer was yes. They looked better than the Bucks. They looked better than the Celtics. Celtics have not looked like they did earlier in the middle of the season. The Sixers are on a historic ending. I think Joel Embiid has now established himself as the number 1 spot for MVP candidate. I love this team right now. Obviously, losses are going to happen. They're not going to win every game at the end of the season. So losing to the Bulls is fine. I'm more impressed with the Bulls than I am disappointed in the Sixers. They had to have lost eventually. It is what it is. And losing to the Bulls when they're, now 34-37, they're not a terrible team away. So it is what it is. You know what? They're gonna come back. They're gonna win a couple more games later in the year. No big deal. One other game I want to discuss, because we had a lot of playoff implications for yesterday's games. The Timberwolves went to New York City, Madison Square Garden, and beat the Knicks, even though Julius Randle scored 57 points. And they won 140 to the Knicks 134. Quite the game, honestly. Timberwolves needed this W. They have not looked amazing the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And I just think that this helped with their playoff chances historically, and just they really needed this W. So props to the T-Wolves. Obviously, me as a Lakers fan, kind of upset that they took this W because it would have helped our chances of getting into the play-in, but it is what it is. And I think the Knicks will be just fine. They're honestly not much better as a home team than they are an away team, so it's not like they are just these home juggernauts. It is what it is. I think that they'll be fine. I think that they were on a historic 8 or 9 game win streak about a week and a half ago, so good for them. But here they are. They're going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to hit the 5 seed. Knicks will be fine. And T-Wolves, now you guys have a better chance to make the play-in. The Warriors did something that they usually don't do yesterday, which is win an away game. Before this game, they were 7-29 when playing away, which is trash, like true trash. And they needed this W. They went to Houston, won 120 to 108. Sorry, one moment. My audio. Oh, we're good. 121 to 108. Impressive W. Steph Curry, 30 points, 7 rebounds. I mean, I want to say you have to beat the Rockets, and most teams do beat the Rockets, but again, last week the Lakers didn't, so let's not even get into that. So good for the Warriors, helping them stay in the 6th seed, and they need that W. Memphis took a home W against the Mavericks, placing the Mavericks at an even 36-36 record with 10 games remaining. Luka didn't play. Kyrie did play, but he didn't really have his best game. He wasn't performing like he usually does. I'm pretty sure his stat line, let me pull this up real quick. I apologize. Kyrie had 28 points with 4 rebounds and 0 assists. So not a typical Kyrie game. He was -7 plus minus. He shot 10 for 24 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. Wasn't the typical Kyrie game, but it is what it is. Steven Adams had 22 and 14. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not Steven Adams. I can't read my own notes. That is not Steven Adams. I am so very sorry about that. Santi Aldama. He had 22 points and 14 rebounds, the plus minus of 4. So good for you. Good for you, Santi Aldama. I apologize for calling you Steven Adams. The final game I want to talk about that had some playoff implications was the Jazz took a home W against another one of the hottest teams in the league, Sacramento Kings. Kings that were on a great streak the last 2 weeks. Now they're 43-28 as of yesterday's game. They were 22-14 when playing away. Great away team. And they took an L against the Utah Jazz, who now slip into the 10 seed and the play-in tournament. De'Aaron Fox, 37 points, 7 assists. I honestly am not really worried about the Kings either. They're going to probably stay the 2 seed. I don't know if the Grizzlies can catch up to them. I know they're pretty close in the rankings and pretty close in games, but I do think the Kings will stay in the 2 seed. Kings I also had as one team to look out for. You know, they took some really good wins the last couple weeks at LA Clippers. It took a home W against the LA Clippers, home W against the New York Knicks, at Brooklyn, at Phoenix. De'Aaron Fox, the previous 13 games before this one, was 28.7 points per game, 5.8 assists per game, 4.2 rebounds per game, 1.8 steals per game, plus minus a 17. and they were 11-2 in their last 13, not counting yesterday's game. Domantas Sabonis, I apologize. Previous 13 games, 21 points per game, 13.5 rebounds per game, 8.3 assists per game, plus minus of 44. That's a combined, by the way. These not averages. That was a combined plus minus. One team I want to discuss as of today, Tuesday, March 21st, we have the Cavs visiting the Brooklyn Nets. The Cavs I also had as one of the winners of this last week. They were 6-2 in their last 8. Their only L's they took were in Miami and in Philly. And their last 9 games they have, the rest of the season, they're kind of cake. They have Brooklyn. I think they have Charlotte. The teams that they face the next couple weeks are not going to be hard for them. I think that they can definitely, I don't know if they could jump from the 4 seed to the 3 seed because the difference is pretty substantial. Let me take a look at it real quick. Yeah, they're currently sitting at the 4 seed at 45-28. The 3 seed Sixers are currently 48-23, so they're 4 games behind. I don't think that they can catch up to the Sixers. I know that the Sixers' remaining schedule is pretty tough, but I just don't know if they can have a 4-game difference and jump them, even 5-game if they don't have the tiebreaker. So I'll keep them at the 4 seed for now, but props to them. Previous 8 games, Spida, 29.1 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game with a plus minus of 23. We also have tonight the Celtics visiting the Kings. That's a game to watch. Both teams are amazing. It's going to have major playoff implications in seeding. We also have another playoff game, not playoff game, but playoff implications game with the Thunder visiting the Clippers. Go check out the game if you can. Shea's been on a tear. Last 9 games, 33.6 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, 4.6 assists per game, 1.8 steals per game, and a plus minus 48. Looking at their last 9 games, the Thunder sit at 7-2. They had W's against the Suns, the Nets, the Warriors, and at the Pelicans. Excuse me. The remaining schedule is pretty tough, though. I'm a little worried for them and their play-in chances. They have at LA Clippers twice, at LA Lakers versus Phoenix, at Golden State Warriors, at Utah, and versus Memphis for the remaining schedule. That's not going to be easy. I'm a little worried for their playoff chances with the other play-in teams being like the Lakers and the T-Wolves, who don't have really that tough, well, especially the Lakers, they don't have that tough of a schedule left to play. So, and with it being such a tight window of games behind, you really have to win every game. Well, not win every game, but you have to win a substantial amount of your games if you want to stay competitive. And I just don't know if that's going to be the Thunder. I do like them, but I just don't know that's going to be the chances. I was going to make a winners and losers of the last couple weeks. The winners I kind of already mentioned, like the Sixers, the Kings, Cavs, whatever. I was going to make a losers, but I really only can think of one team because every team has been pretty, win one, lose one kind of thing. So my one loser and gigantic loser of the last 2 weeks has been the Blazers. They've lost their last 6. They look like trash. True trash. I predicted them to make the 10 seed. Not happening. They suck. They have lost